But first, I'm going to go ahead and read the medical disclaimer. The information provided is for educational purposes and is not intended as medical advice or a substitute for medical advice of a physician or other qualified healthcare professional. We do not aim to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any illness or disease, and you should always consult with a doctor or other healthcare professional for medical advice or information about diagnosis and treatment. And the information in this presentation has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration or any other medical body. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Dr. Dori Naerbo. And for those of you who don't know me, I am a clinical researcher and an author of several books. So welcome to our Tuesday call with Clayton Thomas, who is the founder of Root. Clayton has over 25 years of experience in the health and wellness industry. And for the past 16 years, he's been focused on detoxification and supplementation formulations with a simple philosophy: cure the cause. So hello, Clayton, and welcome to the call.
Dori, thanks for having me. Is it Q&A day?
It certainly is. How did you find out? How did you know that?
I saw a rumor.
Sandy, I bet you Sandy let it loose.
Yeah, I got one.
Sandy cannot keep quiet. The other thing too is normally we don't record these calls, but I guess we can record this one this time.
I think we should.
Because we have some really good questions, I think, that for learning, people would probably want to know. And we're not going to talk about, obviously, we're not going to talk about diseases and things like that.
Or cures.
Well, we can talk about cures all day long. We cure boredom.
That's true. We are an entertainment company.
This is all for entertainment, baby.
Okay. So
we've got more valuable content than Netflix.
Some of the people are the new people, you know, they don't know how to take us yet, Clay.
With water.
Okay, they may not get our humor, but you know, we've got to remember we've been doing this now for what, 2 years now? So yeah. So but anyways, okay, so before we get started, you know, we have a few ground rules for this call. We are a supplement company, and therefore we will not answer questions pertaining to disease or any medical conditions. So we just need to be a little bit creative in how we're going to approach things, okay?
Well, one of us might not answer those. One of us is prone to answering things.
That's why it's a good thing that I can cut you out. Okay, so here are the questions. So we'll just get started.
So we can kind of hit on the first three all together. So what's unique about natural barrier support? A couple things. One, Christina made it. And why is that important? Because when she's putting something together, and she'll tell you, she reads pretty much everything available on a subject because she has the ability to speed read and she has an eidetic memory. So where normal people would take an hour to read a document or something, or sometimes more, she can skim it and actually retain everything in minutes. So when looking at natural barrier support, and you probably heard that vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc are really, really important in the prevention or support of your immune system in an environment where there's a higher risk of getting a cold and the flu. It's been that way for many decades. And when you look at the data on that, there's a certain amount of vitamin C, there's a certain amount of vitamin D, and there's a certain amount of zinc that you need in order for that to be effective. She created a formula that includes all of those, right? The proper amounts, the proper combination. But what she's also very, very in tune with is getting the right quality. And the most important component of that is vitamin C, right? Because not all vitamin C is the same. And one of the things she's gone over in a couple recent interviews is that if you're not having a quality vitamin C and it's quality tested, you can have stuff that's loaded with mold and metals. So you want a naturally sourced and produced vitamin C. The best version is liposomal vitamin C. The best version of that is dehydrated liposomal vitamin C, which is what we have in natural barrier support, combined with zinc sulfate, with the right amounts of zinc sulfate, combined with the strategic amount of vitamin D, which is cholecalciferol, and it is naturally derived. I don't know the exact natural source. I believe it's lichen derived. There's multiple sources. And here's one thing that people talk about with ascorbic acid and vitamin C. You'll hear people argue that it's synthetic. This just in, you could make an argument that every version of vitamin C on the market is actually synthetic, even if it's naturally sourced, because unless you're taking a lemon or a lime or something or an orange and you're squeezing it, that's a natural source of vitamin C. If you're taking a supplement, while the original source is natural, it's put through a process to isolate the ascorbic acid, which is a process of synthesis. So you can say every version of vitamin C, doesn't matter what kind it is synthesized. So, and it's synthetic. Is that an accurate statement scientifically? Yes. So then it comes down to quality. We source the best quality possible because Christina is absolutely uncompromising in quality. But what makes this special is we're kind of uncompromising when it comes to competitiveness as well. So natural barrier support comes in a bottle like this, and you get 1,500 milligrams of the vitamin C, you get 40 milligrams of zinc sulfate, and you get 125 micrograms of vitamin D3 in a third of a teaspoon, right? Because it's a powder. There is no other ingredients in this, no excipients, no capsules, no gelatin, no other fillers, nothing needed, just those 3 ingredients combined properly. But the number of servings in this bottle makes it really unique. There's 100 servings in a bottle. And we have this bottle priced at $75 US right now, $74.95. So if you do any comparison, even of liposomal vitamin C, you'll find that right now those products run about $40 for a month's supply, 30-day supply. So that's $120 just for liposomal vitamin C. And you can get 3 months plus an extra 10 days for $75, along with the zinc sulfate and the vitamin D properly combined. You will not find another product that has the quality, that has the proper combination of ingredients priced like this is, period. It's the best on the market. And you can add it in water, it tastes like vitamin C. I like to squeeze it with a little lime and lemon juice, so you get the activation of the lime and lemon juice along with the boost. People have had amazing results with it. So I hit on the vitamin D, I hit on the vitamin C. It is a dehydrated liposomal vitamin C. And the vitamin D is, I think, lichen derived. So can't beat it. Let me see, how often do we take Relive and natural barrier support? Relive is something we take, in the morning. I take a teaspoon of it in the morning. It's recommended, let me see here, that a teaspoon a day. And the serving size is about a third of a teaspoon, which there's 100 servings of a third of a teaspoon. Christina and I take a teaspoon in the morning in our blend. I've heard amazing feedback from people that are using a third, a half, or a teaspoon in the morning, and then they'll use a little bit as a meal replacement, during the day, and are getting amazing results. And what you have to understand is this stuff is so nutrient dense that, one, it won't break a fast. So if you're intermittent fasting or doing anything, you're covered. If you're on a keto diet, these are probably the most keto greens you're going to find, because the combination of the specific greens, the inulins, the probiotics, the prebiotic fibers, in conjunction with the cayenne pepper and the MCT powder, I've been told by a couple people that are really big into this space that if you take this with Restore, you can basically live on it, which is pretty good. So the dosage you want to take is really up to you. You can kind of play with it, but one teaspoon a day is kind of recommended, or you can go with a third teaspoon and figure that out for what you need. Natural barrier support, I think for what it says, natural barrier support, a third of a teaspoon a day is amazing. If you get sick or you're around people that's sick and you feel something coming on, like it's cold and flu season. So if you get the scratchy throat or, snotty nose or runny nose, or you get that little inkling that, hey, I think I've got something, you might want to hit a couple times a day and watch what happens. This stuff's absolutely amazing. I've taken a lot of, vitamin C supplements and such over the years. And, the feedback I've had from the community thus far is this is different. Part of it is the energetics, right? We go over the quantum physics aspect and the quantum physical perspective because Christina's putting her intention into this. So if you want gut health and microbiome health, you actually want at least all four, probably all five, right? And here's why. CleanSlate, you have the ability to detoxify and provide the silica and the trace minerals. The importance of removing glyphosate, mercury, cadmium, arsenic, lead, aluminum, cesium, strontium, gadolinium, graphene, PBEs, PBDEs, PCBs. We can go down the list. Viral fragments, viral particles, bad fungus and mold, mycotoxins. CleanSlate, through its constituent, which is clinoptilolite, the purest form of clinoptilolite available on the market, our process, what Christina's done, frees up the bioavailable silica and also takes the fragments, the cage fragments, and puts them in a quantity and a size that no one else has. It's already been validated. You can't argue with it, even though people want to complain. You can't compete with it. It's going to grab onto the bad stuff while delivering the silica, the trace minerals that are needed for mitochondrial function, for cellular function, and for the beginning of the regeneration of the lining of the gut, because silica is the key building block. Bioavailable silica, orthosilicic acid, is what's most important for our regeneration and the crystallization of our bodies that's taking place. Where do you get it? Clinoptilolite is proven to be the best source of it. It's published, proven, can't argue with that either. No one else knows what we know and what we're doing. And that's part of the fun part of being here. So you got to get that stuff out. You want to put in the silica. Second part is Restore. Restore is going to kill off a lot of the bad mold, the fungus. It's going to help the gut heal. It's got probiotic components to it because of the ingredients, the anti-inflammatory properties, the anti-cancer properties. All of those components are phenomenal for gut health. Zero In plays two parts. One, it's beneficial in supporting the gut and the microbiome because of some of its ingredients. But the most crucial part that no one else in the world can hit on is the benefits for neurotransmission, because your gut is where those are produced. Your vagus nerve connects your brain and your gut. Both brains are connected through your vagus nerve. Primary component of the vagus nerve is the communication and the delivery of neurotransmitters. Zero In produces dopamine and serotonin. It feeds the gut the fuel the gut needs to produce those two primary neurotransmitters, and there's some others, that get delivered to your brain so you function better. This is what everybody's missing when it comes to gut health. Neurotransmission overrides stress. It allows your immune system to work better, and everything becomes fun. Zero In is the most powerful pill on the market, and people aren't getting enough of it. I took 3 of them because Tuesdays are a 3 Zero In day. And I will tell you, in 10 minutes when it hits, you are a completely different individual. Try it. Test me. I use one when I go to bed a couple times a week now, and you sleep like you're in a coma, because the boost of serotonin and dopamine, the serotonin puts you out, you dream like crazy, you get a dopamine kick in the morning. So when you wake up, you're refreshed, you're alert, you feel like you probably don't feel in the morning most of the time. It's better than coffee and all the other moldy stuff you get. Amazing. So, so we hit on number 7 without looking at it. During the process when Clino's broken to release the silicon dioxide. What happens to the aluminum part? It doesn't create any free aluminum. Clinoptilla likes a sodium aluminosilicate. We don't break apart the structure. The important part is being able to flush out and remove the heavy metals, the molds, the viral fragments that are stored in the cage structure, which we do through the process, and we do heavy metal testing. We've tested our raw, so the 97% pure Clino that we get, we test the raw, then we've tested the concentrate. So when we create the concentrate of the zeolite fragments, we test for heavy metals, which is almost non-existent. And then we take that concentrate and then we add the trace minerals, we add the ascorbic acid, and we add water, which dilutes it even more. So the concentration of heavy metals is like really, 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 really low, like less than a couple parts per billion. So it's clean. You understand, my wife comes from biotech and pharma, where their standards of quality, even people will argue mechanisms of action, their standards of quality are orders of magnitude greater than what anybody in the nutritional supplement industry can even comprehend. 0N's produced in a drug manufacturing facility, not a supplement manufacturing facility, in a drug facility. CleanSlate is manufactured in a drug manufacturing facility. It's completed through a process that is proprietary, that no one else can do, that's never been done before. So, and here's the fun part with that question. We are crushing the rest of the zeolite industry. And I went over this on my training yesterday, which we can post to go along with this. Is 0N equally important to the gut microbiome to Relive? I would argue yes, because I've gone over that. The importance of the microbiome, the importance of neurotransmission, I will argue that aside from what CleanSlate does for cleaning up the mess, which is foundational, I will argue that 0N is the most important of the 5 because of the dopamine and serotonin. It's good times. There's nothing like this stuff, but Relive, because of what it does as well, it's hard to say one's more important than the other, because Christina's created a combination of products that are all synergistically combined to work together to have you go nuclear, right? That's what's crucial. You can start wherever you want. If you're on a budget, you're like, okay, I want to try this stuff. I'm going to start with CleanSlate. Great, do that. You're going to build in some of the others as you get going. Or you could say, you know what? I'm going to try this 0N stuff. And I will tell you, we're going to start some campaigns with some of the youth movement, but also athletes, just to start with 0N, because it's unfair what this stuff does. And I think I just hit on the synergy. So look, I answered that one without even reading it. I did it in less than 9 minutes. What else we got? Come on.
Hold on.
I gotta go ahead and stop sharing, and we can just open the floor. Let me look at the questions here.
Well, here's one.
All right, everyone, it's time to go. We'll say goodnight and see you. Well, we'll see you tomorrow, actually, on the science call.
Booyah, Stuart.
See you. Bye-bye.